Alicia here with another lightened up Weight Watcher friendly recipe, and today's recipe is going to be for air fryer pumpkin fritters. Now this is going to be something new for me that I'm trying out. I do have an apple fritter recipe already that we love, and what I'm going to be doing is taking that one and using it as sort of a guideline, tweaking it a little bit to do a pumpkin version of apple fritters, because I absolutely love pumpkin anything, especially this time of year. And so I thought it would be fun to do a pumpkin fritter. And I also thought it'd be fun to take you guys along with me, because hopefully this is going to turn out. If you're seeing it, then that does mean that they did turn out. But let me first start off by showing you what you're gonna need to make this. You're gonna need some canned pumpkin puree. And this is just the plain pumpkin, 100% pure, not the pumpkin pie filling. You're gonna need a cup of that. Next up, you're gonna need a half cup of a fat-free plain Greek yogurt. And I really like this specific brand. I just think it works really well with the 2-ingredient dough recipes, which is what this basically is. So half cup plain Greek yogurt. You're gonna need some self-rising flour, 1.5 cups of that. For sweetener, I'm going to be using some golden monk fruit Lakanto. I'm going to be using a 1/3 cup of this, but you could use whatever type of no-calorie brown sugar sweetener that you want. This is just my personal preference, or preferred kind is the monk fruit. Next up, you're going to need a teaspoon vanilla, 2 teaspoons pumpkin pie spice. I always like to say make my own. I have a recipe video showing that. I'll link that up above and down below if you haven't seen it. 1 large egg. You're gonna need a little bit of olive oil spray to spray your air fryer, and then also your dough. And then that's it for the dough. For the glaze, I'm gonna be using 4 tablespoons of confectioners or powdered sugar. Now, I did want to point out that's just my personal preference, which is why I'm using just plain old confectioner sugar and not a sugar substitute, a 0-calorie sugar substitute. You absolutely can if you want. While I love the monk fruit sweeteners, I'm not the biggest fan of the powdered version. That being said, you will see me using it. I do use it in recipes, but in others, if I can get away with the points that I'm going to be getting from just regular powdered sugar, then I'll do that. I just think there's such a difference in taste that it's worth it to me, especially when you're talking about a glaze that you're really going to taste it in. It's worth it to me to have those extra points. This does make a 2-point per fritter difference. So again, if you are not opposed to the calorie-free sweeteners when it comes to the powdered like I am, I would definitely recommend using one of those. And it would be the same amount, 4 tablespoons. So that was long-winded, but I did want to say why I'm using just regular sugar, because I've kind of gotten away from the regular sugars a lot in my recipes. But when it comes to this, I'm still gonna use it if I can, point-wise. Okay, next up for the glaze, I'm gonna just be using a couple teaspoons, probably 2.5. I just sort of play it by ear when I'm doing glazes. But I'm gonna start off with about 2.5 teaspoons of unsweetened almond milk. And that's it for the glaze, just those 2 ingredients. And that is for the ingredients total, so let me get this started. So first off, in a medium-sized bowl here, I'm gonna add in my 1.5 cups of self-rising flour, my 1/3 cup monk fruit brown, and my 2 teaspoons pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna just whisk all those together like that, and then I'm gonna set this aside. And then another bowl, I'm gonna add in my egg, pumpkin puree, Greek yogurt, and my teaspoon vanilla. And then I'm gonna whisk all of that together really well. That looks good. So now I'm gonna pour in my dry ingredients, and I'm gonna just stir those in. You're gonna just keep stirring this until you don't see any dry ingredients anymore and you get what resembles a dough. Now this is going to most likely be really sticky, just like it is with apple fritters that I do. But that's all right, since I don't have to roll it out or anything like that. But again, I'm just kind of working this to get all those dry ingredients worked into the wet. That is looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna grab my air fryer basket and we'll divide this up and put it in. Got my air fryer basket here and I've just lined it with one of these silicone liners. I like to use those. It kind of helps the food from sticking, especially with something like this. But in addition to that, I'm gonna go ahead and also spritz that with a little bit of olive oil just for further protection from those sticking. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my dough here and I'm going to divide this roughly, or as best as I can, into 6 equal parts. So I'm gonna just kind of go down the middle there. Again, this dough is very sticky. And then I'm gonna just kind of take what looks like a third and then plop that into my air fryer. And I'm gonna just do 3 of these at a time so that they fit in there well. And my air fryer is a pretty good sized air fryer. If you have a smaller one, you might have to do more than the 2 batches that I'm gonna be doing, but add my 3 in here. And I'm gonna just kind of eyeball the dough and add a little where it needs. They look pretty even to me though. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take my spatula here and kind of just press these down a little bit so that hopefully they will cook evenly. So I've got those kind of patted down a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz the tops of them with olive oil spray so they brown out nice. And then here in my calorie, since this is the first time I'm doing this recipe and the first time I'm doing it in this particular air fryer as well. I've done the apple fritters in my other air fryer. This one, I've never done anything like this in it. So to be on the safe side, I'm gonna choose my bake setting after I turn it on, which on mine is 320 and 20 minutes. I'm gonna start with that and see how we do. I'll probably give these, I don't know, about 6 minutes and I'll start checking them because again, I'm not sure how long they're gonna take. I'm gonna guess around 12 minutes and you wanna flip these halfway. So I will check them at 6, see how we're looking and go from there. All right, here is how we're looking. I actually let these go for 10 minutes. They are looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and flip them now, spritz the other side with a little more of the olive oil and cook them probably just another few minutes more, but I will be back once they are done. I let these cook an additional 4 minutes in there. So now I'm gonna take them off, put them on my cooling rack here and do the other 3 up. While those are in the air fryer, I'm gonna go ahead and get my glaze done up, which is 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And then I'm gonna start with 2 teaspoons of that almond milk. You could also use water if you want. And I'm gonna just whisk that together and see what my consistency is looking like. And I think that is actually pretty good. So 2 teaspoons is giving me the consistency that I'm wanting. If you want thicker, you can use less. Thinner, use more. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside until I'm ready for it. While I'm waiting on that second set to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and get these ones basted before they get too cool with my glaze here. So I'm gonna just baste a little bit of the glaze on each one of these. Like that. And And then I'll save the rest of it for the last 3. Got my other ones out and all glazed, so I'll let these cool a little bit and then we will give them a taste test. All right, I let these cool just a little bit. They're still fairly warm, but wanted to give you the points on these. So again, this makes 6 and they are going to be 6 points each. Editing Alicia here. I just want to let you guys know these are actually only 5 points apiece. When I made these and input them into WW Recipe Builder, WW was counting the Lakanto as having points. They are now no longer counting it as having points. So instead of 6, they are 5. Just wanted to say that. So we'll give these a taste test, see what we think of them. They smell really good. They look good. Hopefully they're going to taste good. All right. Got the hubs here.
Hubs.
Ha, I got it right before you even said it. So why don't you take a bite first? Actually, would you break one open for me so I can show? The inside. It's good. Smells good. Okay. Take a little bite. I'm going to take a bite too. Would you hand me the... I'll just take that one. Good? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's just all pumpkin spice and sweet.
Oh yeah, that's yummy. I was afraid that I didn't maybe get enough sweetener inside them, but I think it definitely does. I think it's definitely sweet enough, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Especially with the glaze. Yeah, those are good.
The glaze really makes it pop.
It's a nice texture too.
Mm-hmm.
I love... Now that's not technically 2-ingredient dough because it's more pumpkin than the yogurt, but still kind of... Oh yeah, the texture's really good on that. Flavor's good.
Wow.
Those are yummy. And they're still warm, and I would suggest them warm, I think. I'm sure they still taste good once they cool down, but I bet they taste a whole lot better warm like this. All right, well, any other thoughts? Those are definitely yummy. How do you think?
That's 6 points?
Yeah, 6 points.
Oh, yeah, totally worth it.
Totally worth it. I think so too. All right, guys, that was pumpkin fritters. I will be sure to, as I said before, I'll have rough baking guidelines down below if you want to do these in the oven. And I'll also link the apple fritter recipe that I have. Those are really good too. All right, thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.